Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second of a two-part series looking at all the Warhammer Astra Militarum Legend units. You can check out the previous video of the first 14 units in this link here, and the remaining 19 I'll cover now. In that previous video I said I was going to do it with 3 videos, but I'm going to do it with 2, just want to get it done. Right, so getting straight back into it, as I said, I've got the point costs for all the units here, and just as reference I've got any of the official or units you can still use their points as well, just to give us a comparison. But one thing I'll quickly cover before I dive into the ELYSIAN Sniper Squad is that the previous one, the last one I finished on, was the ELYSIAN Drop Sentinel, and this has the walk keyword, and this has importance because as we go back up to the first unit, the Valkyrie Sky Talon, it can transport basically a TAUROS, which we'll look at in a second, and an Astra Militarum Walker. So the only Astra Militarum Walker model I know of is the ELYSIAN Drop Sentinel. So just thought I'll cover that because it's still interesting. Right, so as I scroll back, the first is the ELYSIAN Sniper Squad. So this is a unit of 3 models, all with sniper rifles, and they cost, I think it is 65 points for 3 models. You can see, interestingly, so it's toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 OC. Now it's three sniper teams. Okay, so sniper team is going to be 2 dudes, I assume. And you've got sniper rifle, which is no change to anything else. And they can deep strike, and their ability is, if they remain stationary, any ranged attacks get the devastating wounds ability. Which, please tell me, and I should know this, that normal sniper rifles don't have that. They've got heavy and precision. So this is unique, devastating wounds, making these into mortal wounds when wounding on a 6. So that's cool. So they can hit on 2s because they're heavy. That certainly is quite powerful. And if I go quickly, I did a bit quick Google to see if there's any pictures of the actual miniatures, but it looks like this is such an old unit that Google Images has not given me a definitive, consistent result. These must be an ancient kit. And I hope to hear from some of you who used these before. But 65 points, this actually feels pretty well costed. They can do dev wounds and deep strikes. So yeah, if you got them, fantastic. They'll be super cool to play. Okay, next is the Heavy Mortar team. Now, this is still available for sale. For some reason it's come up in a part of Europe, but I know they're still available in the UK. This model here looks really old-fashioned. And it costs you, the Heavy Mortar team costs you 50 points, and you can only take 1 model. So 50 points, toughness 5, 3 plus say 4 wounds for the actual artillery piece. And basically the Heavy Mortar is D6 attacks, hitting on 5s, which means hitting on 4s because you're heavy. Strength 6, AP 1 and 2 damage. So kind of like the Bombast field gun in the field ordnance battery. And just like the field ordnance battery, it has rearm, reload, and fire sustained hits once if you stay still and it's received an order. So as I said, their points is 50 points. So if you have 2 of these, it's 100 points, and a field ordnance battery. How much does that cost these days? I know it's been put up with the latest changes, but 120 points. So in theory, 20 points cheaper feels about right actually, because it's not as powerful, not as damaging, which is strength 7. For the field ordnance battery bombast field gun. So actually this feels quite well costed in the scheme of things, so that's good. Okay, right, next on to one of my favorites, the Armageddon-PATTERN MEDUSA. Now this thing comes in at Armageddon-PATTERN MEDUSA 105 points, and as reference a Basilisk comes in at 135 points. So this is significant. This is cheaper by a good degree. Now what does it look like if you don't know what this is? And I've actually made one of these and I've got some videos about it. It's basically it's got the boxed in cabin, and you can go to, I'll put some links up here as well, but you can listen to a 12-minute guide about me complaining how hard it is to make because it's made of resin. But I really enjoy it because it's got some interior crew details you can expose. But at 105 points, what do we get? We get basically toughness 9, which I think is tougher than the normal Basilisk, which is exposed cabin. 11 wounds and a 3 plus save. You've got a single bolter, flamer, or something else. And then the Medusa Siege Cannon is blast, indirect, no heavy keyword, but 36-inch range, D6 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 12, AP 2, and flat 4 damage. So it really does hit quite hard. Of course, the challenge will always be, given it's only D6, you could just flunk it and roll quite poorly. So, of course, Blast will help you into multiple model count units, but if you go into another vehicle, you might just roll one shot and suddenly be rolling one hit. Now, what is its ability? Pinning bombardment. So just like some other stuff we're seeing, you got to take a battle shot test if the target is infantry, which is fine, helpful. But at 105 points, the Armageddon-PATTERN MEDUSA certainly feels quite well costed, in line with the rest of the plastic indirect hits, which all got more expensive recently. Okay, next is the heavy quad launcher. So I know this is also available. So, oh my god. Oh, okay, you can buy a batch of 141 pounds for 3 of these with 9 dudes. So actually, for Forger, that feels quite good pricing, actually. Can't believe I'm saying that. Okay, so this comes in at, let's have a look, the point cost, 50 points per model. Now, interesting, so you can't take it in multiple blobs, like a squadron. The old days, I think one of you said in a previous video in a comment, you can't, it's a good point you make. You're going to bring the one model for 50 points, heavy quad launcher. Now, what does it do? Okay, so it's 2d6. Okay, so doesn't have the heavy keyword. Interestingly, hitting on 4s here as opposed to some other stuff hitting on 5s. But essentially, it's 2 mortars strapped together. So, yeah, okay, 50 points. And then a heavy weapon team, if you take 3 mortars, is how much is that? 60-ish points. So 50 points for 2d6. It's tougher. It's got more wounds, so to say. It feels quite well costed. Definitely feels quite well costed. And suppression bombardment. So if you target stuff that isn't a monster or a vehicle, you -1 to the hit roll. So yeah, it feels quite well costed. So 50 points versus heavy weapon team at 60 points. You're getting 2d6 shots, and you could probably argue the ability here is potentially more powerful, maybe, than heavy weapon team having the Overwatch enhanced ability. So that's cool. Okay, next we've got the ARVUS lighter. So I think this is also still available. Okay, well, no longer available. But for £83, you're paying for a big block of plastic. That actually looks really cool. I love anything with interior detail. I had this dream of one day making like a diorama with some guys marching on board before they depart on a mission. But basically it is, from memory, just a transport. So hilarious. It's literally got no attacks, toughness 8, 8 wounds, 3+ save. It's a flyer. It's a transport. It can take 12 dudes inside, 12 Astra Militarum infantry, so any type. And for your no-gun car, the ARVUS lighter is 95 points. Okay, so 95 points versus a Chimera at 85 points. It can fly, there's some benefit there. It can hover. And yeah, it can set up in the first, second, third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules. Okay, so it can come in from strategic reserves in the first. Okay, so I think, yeah, given it can do it in the first round, that is powerful because reinforcements can only come in on the second. And if I've got that wrong, please tell me. But yeah, I mean, 95 points. Yeah, no, this is crap. No shooters as well. Okay, the Vendetta gunship. So I don't actually know what this is in difference to a Valkyrie, and I don't know enough about. I think it could be the main shooters, but the Vendetta comes in at 255 points, and a Valkyrie costs 200. So there's a 55 point difference. Now, what do you get, and what does it look like? I tried to Googleize the gunship, and it looks all very similar to the Valkyrie, but I think it's the fact it's got heaps of las cannons. So if we go back, okay, what has it got on its? So it's got three Vendetta twin las cannons. Okay, nice. And you can basically equip it with as a Vendetta Hellstrike rack missiles instead, and it can also have some 2 heavy bolters. So basically, you've got 3 Vendetta twin las cannons. So what do they do? So unsurprisingly, being twin linked, you can reroll the wound roll, and that means you've basically got 3 shots hitting on 4, strength 12, AP 3, D6 +1. So okay, it will blat away at vehicles, and then you've got 2 heavy bolters with sustain hit, which is a good amount of DACA. But 255, what is its ability? Anti-armor gunship. Each time it makes an attack against monster or vehicles, reroll a damage roll of 1. Oh, okay. Yeah, alright. So, yeah, I mean, 255 versus a Valkyrie. Yeah, look, if you own this, great. You probably magnetize it to make it into a Valkyrie, but I don't know. I don't know enough about flies, to be honest. I've never played a fly, and I don't think that this edition's been nice to them. But yeah, so 255, cool. Points. Now, the Minotaur, this isn't a Space Marine. It is this crab. So 120 pounds, you can still buy it on Forge World, which is hilarious. And it's ugly. It's very, I don't like it. But it's got some cool interior detail. You could have some cool crew in there loading that as monstrosities into the breach. Now the Minotaur cost you, it's quite expensive for a memory. $225. Okay, so it's cheaper than a Rogel Dawn and just more expensive than a Demolisher Siege Cannon equipped Lemon Rust battle tank. So 11 toughness 11, 18 wounds, 2+ save. It comes with basically just the twin Earthshaker cannon, which is twin links over all the wound, and it's the same stats as per a Basilisk Earthshaker cannon. So the overall decent profile. Its ability is the Armored Frontists, which is -1 for all incoming damage on the attack roll, and that's it. So, I mean, it's all right. It's got Squadron. It can be boosted for an order. I think this used to actually be Titanic. I think it used to be a lot stronger profile. But I think the irony was with anything with a strong armor save and lots of wounds for indirect fire, it's just wasted. The Praetor launcher, which you can still fill, the other big block of resin you can buy, the multiple rockets, I think is a similar profile, being quite tanky. But given this thing sits at the back of the board, it's almost like wasted. But if you've got this, I used to describe it as a bit of a crab. If you own this, you can still play it, which is cool. Is it meta? Absolutely, probably not. But this isn't about meta when you're playing Legend models. Okay, now Death Rider Commissar. This can be quite easy to conceptualize in your brain, but basically a Commissar on a horse. And really cool. And we know from the lore that Commissars are not really needed for the Death Corps, because the Death Corps have no issues in dying and fighting for the Emperor. So, how much is equal? Death Rider Commissar, 35 points. Now, how much is a normal Commissar? A normal Commissar is 35 points. So he's the same price as a normal Commissar. Interesting. So, 12-inch move, just like the rest of the horsies. Toughness 4, 4 wounds, 5+ invul save. A Commissar's Pistol. I've never seen that before. Commissar's Pistol. Basically got AP 1, which is a bit of a boost. And let's just check what other pistols he can take. So, nothing. He can take what he's got, which is a pistol, close combat weapon, and savage claws. So, interesting. So the Commissar's close combat weapon, 3 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 4, AP 2, 1 damage. Wow, so they've gone and given him his own unique weapons. Now, I don't think the normal Commissar's got a Commissar pistol. Please tell me if he does. I don't think he does, but it looks like it's basically like a better las pistol and a better power sword. Power weapon, they're now calling it. So, 35 points for the same as normal Commissar. And the political overwatch ability and the summary execution and the orders, I believe, are all the same as per the normal Commissar. So, same price, and you get someone who goes further, and I think has got more wounds and an invul save. I think so. That's great. Yeah, the Death Rider Commissar is a great option if you got it. Now the Sentinel Powerlifter, this thing's hilarious. Sentinel Powerlifter cost you 55 points, and it looks like it's been modelled after the second Aliens, when Sigourney Reaver's and the Powerlifter fighting the Queen Alien, which I'm sure you know that movie. But it's super cool. Obviously, it's meant to be used in by the Minotaurum as they transport heavy material around in the logistical areas of the battlefield. So it's basically a Sentinel, a Scout Sentinel ability. It doesn't move as far, I think. And its key thing is basically the Powerlifter, which is hilarious. 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 10, AP 2, D3 damage. So you're probably going to be doing nothing. But Powerlifter charge, so each time you make a charge, one enemy unit within engagement range, you roll D6 and you can inflict either D3 or 3 mortal wounds. So that's really cool. And as I said, it's 55 points, so it's more than a Scout Sentinel, but it does something in melee. It's 5 points more than a Scout Sentinel, so it does a little bit more than melee because it can charge and stuff, but very cool, very cool. Okay, the MANTICORE platform, so we can imagine what this looks like. Let's go to my Googling. It is, unsurprisingly, the MANTICORE Storm Eagle rockets on a platform. Now, how much does this cost in points? MANTICORE platform, 95 points as reference. Always a normal MANTICORE is 125 points. So for 30 points, you're basically paying for the privilege of movement. So it can't move because it's a fortification. Toughness 8, 3+ save, 8 wounds, and OC value of 2. Now, as per the previous video I did, I do note that I believe the Tarantula batteries, which you can field at the moment, they have an OC value of 0. So the fact this is an OC value of 2 does make it a bit better, which means you could just plump on top of an objective and a home objective, and off you go. But then we look at everything else. The Storm Eagle rockets, no change to the actual thing that can move. And Furious Barrage also is no change. Now, reinforced cover. This is unique to this, so it's got the benefits of... Okay, so if this model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this fortification... Okay, so basically you can hide guys behind this, and then you get the benefit of cover. It's just like the Baneblade rule, which I think actually pops up. So that's cool. Shame it can't move. Obviously, it's a battery; it stays there, platform. But if you've got it, it could make for some very fun narrative games or some scenarios you set up. So super cool to see this. Now then, you've also got the HYDRA battery, HYDRA platform, which is again just a thing plonked on. A battery can't move, and this cost you, let's just check, 95 points. How much is a HYDRA? Is it 30 points less? Let's have a look. HYDRA is 95 points. Okay, so the HYDRA, same cost as the mobile HYDRA. Interesting. And I don't know the HYDRA too well, but it looks like everything here basically is the same as per the HYDRA vehicle. Cool. Right, what's next is the Griffon mortar carrier. Now, this is an absolute relic. I've seen it from like, I think 2nd edition or 3rd edition, and you can see, given how old the Google images are that pop up, it hasn't been used in a long time. But yeah, I remember seeing this when I was a kid, and it looks super cool. So, how much does it cost? As always, it is 115 points. And again, I should know this, but I've got a poor shot to memory. A Basilisk is 135 points. So what do we get? This looks like it's the standard core stats of a Basilisk or a Manticore, or probably just a Basilisk or a Wyvern. And the main course, of course, is the Griffon Heavy Mortar. So blast, indirect, no heavy keyword. Again, 48-inch range, D6 attacks, hitting on 4s, 7 AP 1 and 2. So basically it's got the bombast field gun in the back of it. Okay, and then suppression bombardment, as per something I looked at before, can't remember now. Be targeting infantry models or non-monster and vehicle, they -1 to the hit roll. Yeah, you're basically taking around 1 bombast field gun. How much is a field ordnance battery? 120 versus whatever this was, the Griffon at 115. I mean, no, I mean you're giving away bring it down points because of the vehicle, and just take 2 bombast field guns and a field ordnance battery. But yeah, cool. I mean, it's again cool to see it actually get some rules because it's a classic. I remember from 20 odd years ago. Okay, EARTHSHAKER platform. No surprises what this is. If you want to see a picture of it, it's basically an EARTHSHAKER that doesn't move. Okay, everything's the same. EARTHSHAKER rounds, yep, blah, blah, blah. And it costs EARTHSHAKER 110. And I'm going to embarrass myself because the Basilisk at 135. So, okay, you're paying 20 points less, just like the Manticore battery. 20 points less because it's not a vehicle can move. Cool. Again, it could make some very nice scenarios to explain. But just noticing it now, these don't have the squadron keyword, obviously because they're not a vehicle. So which means that tank commanders can't give it orders, and the Lord Solar can give this fortification orders. Now, I'd never ever heard of these. I do not know where they are. So the MUKAALI riders. Now, Google gave some weird results. So this must be so ancient that basically the interwebs has got only a few pictures, and again, it's good that it's got quite a few kit bash jobs. It must be an absolute relic of an old edition. So how much do these guys on camel-ish things look? Cost 3 models, 110 points. Okay, so the Attila and Rough Riders cost you 80 points for 5 models, and this is 110 for 3. So look, okay, they move donors, move as far, they move 8, they're toughness 6, 4 plus say 5. Okay, so they're significantly more tanky than the Attila and Rough Riders, and likewise the Death Corps Riders, which you can still field. They've got OC value of 2, which is superior as well. And what shooters and stabbers do they have? So they've got hunting lance, stomping feet, and las pistols. And you can take, you can take instead special weapons, which is cool. So hunting lances. So their regiment, they can get orders from all infantry style officers. And so have a look at their lances. So that, yeah, special weapon, special blah 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 blah. Okay, hunting lance, and that I think is no different to the Death Corps hunting lance. I think the Attilan guys have their own specific one. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then stomping feet. That is no different to the fighting claws, whatever they're called for the Death Corps rider dudes. Now, Desert Riders, and they can scout 6. Okay, that's good. They can scout 6 because I don't think the Attila and Rough Riders have that, and the Death Corps guys have got a different ability, but they don't have the scout move. So that helps. Yes, scout 6. Anything moving to pre-game deployment helpful. And basically, Desert Riders, no modifiers to movement, which is basically Horse Masters for the Attila and Rough Riders. Ignore all penalties to move. So yeah, cool. You got slightly tankier Attila and Rough Riders, but on camels, whatever these things are meant to be. And again, if you've played them in the past, please tell me, because I'd love to know. Okay, Salamander Scout Vehicle. Now, we've all heard about this in all of the Gaunt's Ghosts novels, and now it's a bit confusing because you've got the command vehicle in a sec, but I think basically it's an open top Chimera. It's got, what's its shooters, it's got an autocannon, heavy bolter, and armored traction. Of course, it can take, like everything else, a heavy starboard storm bolter, anti-killer missiles. It's a bit of a DACA car. Now, how much does it cost in points? Salamander Scout Vehicle. It is 95 points, and a Chimera is 85 points. So, yeah, again, it feels fair-ish, given you get a bit more DACA from the autocannon. And, okay, Scout 9 inches. So that's good, given it's a Scout, makes sense. And it can outflank. So, when it arrives from strat reserves, it can be set up within your opponent's deployment zone. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, what is it, turn 2, I think? Turn 2 and 3, I believe, for reinforcements where they can't come into opponent's deployment zone. If I get it wrong, please tell me, because I need to confirm on my understanding. But yeah, this feels really well costed. 95 points for, yeah, a bit more DACA and scout move, and some shenanigans in the reinforcement step, if you wish. That's nice to see. Okay, next is they've got the Tauros Assault Vehicle. As what I said before, the Talon, the Sky Talon, can transport one of these. Now, what is this thing? And I've seen this in the past. Okay, so there's 2, it's confusing, but it's one of these, the Tauros Assault Vehicle. It's one of these things. And as you can see, it's meant to be like, it looks like it's more like a desert-ish vehicle. And I think it's used by the ELYSIANs. Oh, okay, it is used by the ELYSIANs. Okay, now, the ELYSIAN, the Tauros Assault Vehicle is 50 points. Okay, that feels good. Now what do you get? 12-inch move, toughness 6, 4 plus save, 6 wounds, OC value of 2. So, yeah, feeling like a really, yeah, pretty well costed light vehicle, 50 points. And this is interesting because obviously we've got nothing in between. We've got the Scout Sentinels and then you've got the Chimera. There's nothing currently in between. So this must have been when you had a bit of an additional layer of vehicles, like a much lighter vehicle. So what's its DACA? It's got heavy flamer and an armoured frame, and you can replace the flamer with a Taurus grenade launcher, and it can take a hunter killer missile. So it doesn't have much DACA, but okay. So the Taurus grenade launcher, that looks like a normal grenade launcher, no? Frag blasts. Okay, so basically it's double a handheld grenade launcher, because a handheld grenade launcher now is D3 shots only one shot from the crack launcher. So it's got a bit more DACA. It can scout move 9, very helpful, and turbo boost. Every time it advances, you just add 6 to the movement. So, okay, yeah, 50 points for a little thing that can buzz around the battlefield. I'm going to keep embarrassing myself. Same price as a Scout Sentinel. Is it achieving the same things as a Scout Sentinel? No, it's not, because it's not as tough. But cool. Yeah, definitely very cool. Okay. Then we got the TAUROS VENATOR. Now, Google, I don't actually know what the difference between the VENATOR... maybe it's just probably going to be the weapons, I'm guessing. Yes, let's go. Oh, excuse me, if we go here. So, it has got twin multi-laser and armoured frame. And of course, you can replace the multi-laser with twin las cannon. Okay, so and this costs 55 points. So 5 more points for some better DACA. Okay, both of them are twin linked, but you got either the one shot of the twin las cannon or the 4 shots from the multi-laser, which of course you roll the wound roll. So yeah, cool. And mobile hunter killer. Okay, so it's got basically the armored sentinel rule. So every time you hit a monster or vehicle, you can roll the wound roll. So from your single las cannon or 4 multi-laser shots on your once per game hunter killer missile, get to roll the wound roll. Very cool. Unmeta as hell, but again, we're not about meta here, are we? Alright, Salamander command vehicle. Now this, I believe, yeah, again, it's super old school. I think the model basically had heaps of antennas sticking out of it. As we look back into the distant far past, some really nice kit bash jobs. Now, Salamander's, what does it cost us? 95 points, so 10 more points than a normal Chimera. And, no, sorry, correction, 80 points, 80 points, 80 points, 80 points for the Salamander command vehicle, 5 points less than a Chimera, and the DACA it's got heavy bolter, heavy flamer, and you can replace, and it can then take the normal DACA on top, so heavy bolter and a flamer, and plus some heavy stubber, which is going to be the choices. So, okay, all the weapons are there. Its key ability is basically, each time this model shoots, lets an enemy unit hit by that attack. Until the end of that phase, that unit doesn't... okay. So basically it doesn't serve the benefit of cover that target, and then all your mates pile into it. So a situational AP boost. I love the idea of this. Like, it really ties into the actual sort of lore of an operating military or vehicles or dedicated to... I think it would be nice if it had some more rules. Like it can basically do the order thing like the Chimera can currently, and maybe you could give orders given it's a command vehicle, but whatever. I mean, it's a legend model, but it feels well costed if you want to use it in your casual games. All right, now this ARKURIAN STORMHAMMER. Now, firstly, its points, which give us a bit of a feel. So 480. It's clearly a Baneblade class model. It's Titanic. Which makes sense. Its DACA is las cannon, 7 multi-lasers, the Stormhammer cannon, twin-linked okay, so this, I'm very sure I found the right one, is actually, I think this is sold as a Solar Auxilia Forge World kit. If we go to Forge World, yeah, this big monster here. So it's yeah, well, it's very expensive. It's obviously euros, so call it about 200 quid. It's basically a land fortress, which is amazing. It looks ridiculous. That looks amazing. What do I say? Okay, now 480 points. It's an absolute behemoth. That looks very much like Baneblade statistics. 24, 13 toughness, 9-inch move, 2 plus save, 8 OC. All the DACA, I mean... 7 multi-lasers. This would be amazing for Overwatch. Just amazing. Imagine this on Overwatch. Like, it's got all the DACA. So 7 multi-lasers, which essentially is 28 shots. We've then got a las cannon. Yeah, cool. Stormhammer cannon. So the Stormhammer cannon, 3d6, 12, 2, AP2, flat 3. Okay. Yeah. I hate anything which is just a d6. So 3d6 is terrifying because you could roll terribly. And a twin battle cannon, of course, d6 plus 3. So the same basically as a battle cannon with twin linked, which is very helpful. But yeah, a lot of DACA. Let's have a look how much a normal Baneblade is. The Baneblade is 540, and this is 480. And given a Baneblade now has got four las cannons and 4 twin heavy bolters or heavy flamers, is 7 multi-lasers superior, maybe. And its rolling fortress ability is just like a Baneblade. Yeah, we get the benefit of cover if this model was blocking some friendly dudes behind. So 480, I think it basically is actually, it's one of the cheaper variants of the Baneblade family. As I just quickly eyeball them, yeah, it's probably one of the middle-ish point costed. So if you own it, great. You can roll forward this big chunk of plastic, resin rather. Don't want to insult you in that. But yeah, it looks super cool. And I think we're at the end. So that hopefully was interesting as I boshed through all of these. As I said, we're not being hyper meta here. I think, you know, if you've got the models, it's fantastic to see you can play them. Because a lot of this stuff, obviously, some of it's quite recent, some of it's still sold by Games Workshop, which I think is a bit insulting to people, that they're still selling kits which are now can't be used competitively, which for a lot of people is very important, myself included. But again, if you're a casual player, you know, it's super cool. You can field everything. Broadly speaking, everything feels to be costed correctly compared to its plastic and playable counterparts, yeah? Of course, Astra Militarum in the current 10th edition meta isn't performing as well as we'd like. It's you know, I think it's in the 40%, if not less, win rate on average. But within the confines of the Guard Codex index points, everything feels about right. Yeah, everything feels, so they've done a good job in that aspect. And fundamentally, I think it's really nice. They've given every single model, including some ancient old kits, a set of rules. Now, I think someone else in the previous video spoke about the engineers for the Death Corps. Now, they don't pop up here at all. So I'm assuming, unfortunately, they've been properly just disappeared. And they don't either appear in the proxy document, which I spoke about in the previous video, where they say, for example, Knight Commander Pask can be proxied as a tank commander, or a Weird Vein Psyker can be proxied as a Primera Psyker. All obvious stuff, but it's nice to see. But yeah, the Death Corps engineers are nowhere to be seen. You got the Death Corps Grenadier Squad, as I said in the previous video, but yeah, so some things have disappeared, which is always a shame. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Please put anything in the comments, because again, I learned a lot from you, because I've only been in the hobby properly now for 4 years, starting in 8th edition and painting when I was a kid. But if you've played in these models in the past, please tell me, because it's super cool to hear about the heritage of the game. So yep, if you enjoyed this video and want to support me, you can do so with a like, comment, or by subscribing, joining my Patreon platoon, or simply watching any of my other YouTube videos. I cover everything Astra Militarum, from the hobby aspect, with hobby, kit bashing and assembling, the tactics of the 10th edition of 40k and previous editions, of course, and also the lore. So keep your bayonet sharp, lads, gone oiled. Faith for the Emperor strong. Patreon platoon, sound off. Tank Commander Glenn. Tank Commander Watchdog Van Etten. Tank Commander Mitchell. Colour Sergeant DuPont. Sergeants Adal, the Colonel Merrill. Veteran Gibson, Hall, Lundeen. Guardsman Beard, Coquelin, Flint, Heels, Malik, Nitton, Nguyen, Smith, Tom, Tompkin. Conscript England, Gilliam, Goodwin.